just to finish, I just wanted to talk to you about Celeste Rivas. I mean, this is another horrible crime, isn't it? You're talking about with Celeste, a young girl, a little girl, really, apparently, when she first started. Let me just put some photos of Celeste up. When Celeste Burke, who was like, he is a complete Burke, he's a pretentious, sorry, let me share this. A pretentious pseudo-intellectual, in my opinion, who could only impress a young girl. Only young girls would be impressed with David because older women, or even older girls, they would see through him in a shop because he just talks a load of rubbish, doesn't he? So, you know, as I say, intellectual. In his songs, he's preaching about this, that, and the other, but there's no substance to David Burke. Just all pretension, in my opinion. And having said that, he was popular. He was doing well. He was on the verge of superstardom. And I think that's basically why he started thinking, oh, Celeste is a liability. Yeah, he's a twonk, Lily, you're right. Celeste became a liability, didn't she? Because he loved grooming an 11-year-old girl, and he loved, uh, abusing her, really. I mean, at the end of the day, what David did with Celeste was abuse, because he's an adult and she was a child. And she put some of the messages that came from Celeste was saying to him, all we ever do is have sex all the time. I want more for my life. Celeste was growing older. She was getting more mature. She was starting to question what was happening between them. And he didn't like it. And also because he was on the verge of superstardom, and he was just about to start his European tour, American tour. He was coming to Spain. He had tour dates all over Europe planned. And then Celeste started getting a little bit bolshy, didn't she? And started, having her own thoughts. How dare she? So, for those of you who don't know about this case, poor Celeste was found dismembered in the front of his Tesla. The Tesla that had been towed away because it was just left parked on the street, and it was towed away to a yard where they tow cars to, and it smelt. And so the owners rang the police, and the police went and found this poor girl dismembered in the car. Anyway, so what's been happening basically is the sort of the trial has started, or at least the preliminaries of the trial have started. And so we're getting information, and poor Celeste's family have to sit there, and apparently they had to even look at the photos of their daughter's head that was found in the trunk, and the different parts of their limbs and things like that. How awful. Imagine as a parent, looking at those things and knowing that that was your daughter who'd been cut up by this twonk. Or he's innocent till he's proven guilty. We have to remember that, don't we? This pretentious twat. Honest God, it just makes me so angry. A young girl like that. Anyway. So Celeste won't get, her life. She'll never get married. She'll never have children. I mean, he's not going to either, because he'll probably be in prison for the... Apparently, air fresheners. But you can't have a body in the front of your car for the amount of months Celeste's body is reputedly was in his car without it smelling. Don't matter how many air fresheners you put in, for God's sake. You know, just, he's a thicko. And why did he keep her? You know, why did he not dispose of her remains? Anyway, so the investigator, Chelsea Murillo, is a criminalist with the LAPD, testified he responded to the Hollywood tow yard where Rivas Hernandez's mutilated body was found inside the black Tesla registered to David Burke on September the 9th, 2025. The body had already been taken to the medical examiner's office, but she said she noticed a strong odor coming from the car, adding that it resembled the smell. When she approached the vehicle, she saw multiple air fresheners inside the vehicle. She gathered at least 11 air fresheners, also in the rear seats, also in the front area. She then began marking red stains inside the vehicle. She used a chemical reagent called I can't pronounce that. That's probably like luminol or that similar thing, to confirm the red spots were blood, and she found invisible blood traces, and she conducted a chemical test called Blue Star. And this is luminol based. It reacts with iron and hemoglobin to produce a bright blue luminescent glow, in allowing investigators to confirm the existence of blood. And prosecutors apparently presented a photo of the lower compartment glowing in blue light. She also testified the side panelist, and she confirmed some of the for Celeste's DNA. Let's see if I can. See if I can show this video. Let's see. Oh, I might be able to show this video.
Annabelle Sedano, Colleen, and Michael are off tonight. David is now facing sexual abuse and murder charges in the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Prosecutors are presenting a summary of the evidence in the case to show the judge there is enough evidence for a jury trial.
Investigative reporter Eric Leonard now.
It's very difficult for any of us to imagine what Celeste Rivas Hernandez's parents went through today. As they sat in court and listened to a detective testify on the witness stand while showing photos about the way that their daughter's body was discovered at that tow yard in Hollywood, the condition of her remains, and the beginning stages of this investigation. Prosecutors today really focused on those first few days of the investigation. What detectives found, the clues, they say, even in those first hours, began to point them towards the singer known as David and the home he was living in the Hollywood Hills. These sketches from court show David, whose legal name is David Burke, sitting in the 9th floor courtroom today as prosecutors showed photos of the way 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was discovered. His parents sat in the front row. Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman turned around and warned them about what was about to be shown, and at one point suggested they put their heads down. Celeste was found last September in the front trunk of a black Tesla in Hollywood. The car, of course, registered to David Burke. And these photos, just part of the presentation of evidence, where the prosecution multiple clues pointed immediately towards Burke. Among them, electronic data that shows Burke was the last person to drive his Tesla on July 29th, 2025. That was about a month before Celeste was found. Then search warrants led to online purchase records that the detective says
chainsaws, a body bag, and
items were shown in court. The detective explained how some of the equipment was delivered by Amazon, DoorDash, and Postmates. No blood was found on those saws. It turns out they weren't tested for DNA. Earlier, an LA County Sheriff's deputy testified about a welfare check that he was sent to in a home in West Hollywood where Burke was staying. The home was searched for Celeste. She wasn't there. But at one point, body-worn video captured Burke saying that Rivas Hernandez had told him she was 18 years old, and then he learned she was 13 years old. And key to the prosecution's presentation here, they say at the time of the recording, Burke was already involved in an intimate relationship with the teen. On the witness stand this afternoon, a music industry financial executive who managed part of Burke's financial empire. The reason he was on the stand is that prosecutors are trying to show that there's evidence to prove that David, the singer, stood to lose potentially millions of dollars if he became an accused sex offender, which is what they say Rivas Hernandez was threatening to do in text messages. This goes to the potential motive of the case. The music executive said Burke had earned somewhere between $10 and $11 million at the time that Rivas's body was found. Preliminary hearings are usually short. This one's expected to go on for a couple more days. Live at criminal courts downtown, I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News. Back to you.
And Eric, what more can we expect moving forward during the week in this hearing?
Well, there's a lot more to this investigation beyond the discovery of the remains, which we heard a lot about today, and some of those initial electronic clues that pointed towards Burke, at least according to the police department. There's a lot lot more forensic work that was done to learn how Celeste died, the mechanisms, what they were able to learn about how she wound up in that Tesla, and some of the other things that happened that the police are saying amounts to a solid murder case. Plus, there's a lot of stuff about the relationship between Burke and Rivas, we should say the alleged relationship here, that prosecutors plan to call another detective to testify about probably as soon as tomorrow.
And our breaking news coverage continues. The preliminary hearing in the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And at the center of this case is singer David.
Joining us now to talk more about this case, Manny Medrano, attorney and federal prosecutor. Manny, as always,
it's important that we get outraged about these cases, because when the day comes that we're not outraged anymore, you know, what has society come to then? These victims, they deserve to be talked about. We can't avoid talking about things just because it is unpalatable. It hurts the soul as well, doesn't it? You know, I don't know, sometimes it is depressing. Of course it is. Sometimes, you know, these victims, I think about them all the time. Don't know if that's a healthy thing, but I just can't help it. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing, caring about them, all of them. Preston Davey, Celeste, Ann Widdicombe, whoever it is, anyone whose life is taken from them. These twonks do not have the right to do what they did, and they deserve everything that's coming to them. And they are going to, and I'm going to put up my hell emoji. This is where they're going. If not in this world, in the next world, they're going to hell. Okay, I've got to go. So listen, take care of yourselves. Thank you for everything. Thank you for liking, subscribing, all those things you do to support my channel. Thank you for the jewels. Lily sent me, I've got, let me just put that up again. Oh, where's it gone? Where's it gone? There it is. Yeah. Gems. Lily sent me 2 gems. Thank you so much. And I'll see you really soon in the next video. Look after yourselves. Love you loads. And until I see you again, may your God go with you. Thank you. Bye. Right, baby.